Another major update, and for the first time in 2 years, I can finally say there's actually something to be excited about. The biggest change, of course, comes from the sticker design, which features a border, finally. Also, very American of you, Valve, thank you. These Western belt buckle style stickers exist in paper, foil, and gold. And yes, foil stickers are back, and a much needed change moving them below holos in terms of rarity. Foils have never been a popular choice for team stickers or autographs, so their price was propped up solely by supply numbers instead of actual demand for the item. I think we can all agree that this is the proper order of sticker rarity. We also get a strange wavy holo design. I don't want to be that guy, but it is an American event, and this style may or may not be reminiscent of an oil spill. Now this change has been a controversial choice so far, as Rainbow Puke vibrant stickers are heavily desired by many, but when flipping through some of the stickers, color matching with crafts is going to be very easy to do with all these stickers that have a dominant primary color. It also helps that the border isn't a massive belt buckle for holos, which would have made it almost impossible to make a clean craft. And if all of that is still too distracting, the sticker can be scratched to a near perfect borderless look. This still exists in a gray area to me, but anything beats another exact copy of previous majors. Another important aspect that Valve changed is souvenirs. We are lacking information at the moment, but we have confirmation that charms will be added to souvenirs. While this update is still status quo for the way that Valve handles their money-making machine, the items themselves have seen their first big overhaul since 2021. The community has spoken, and I'm not just talking about all of us playing at home. It seems like Valve have finally folded. While it may not be obvious as CS2 has continued to grow and establish itself as the successor of CSGO, this change to major items has saved the competitive scene that we know today. Long story short, the introduction of borderless stickers had people flooding to buy capsules. These large buying sprees twice a year force shifts in the market, and that is good for anyone actively holding items or looking to make some money. 50% of sticker sales go to the teams and players for their respective capsules. The reactions and subsequent content built around major items also provide free marketing for the major. After years of borderless stickers and boring souvenirs, the writing was on the walls for Copenhagen, and it all came crashing down with Shanghai. These stickers did not sell well. Paris was massively overinvested, so those looking for profits avoided Copenhagen, as sticker investing seemed dead. Sticker effects like holos and golds were also not received well, so not only were people not investing, very few stickers were applied. Souvenirs were also officially dead, with hundreds of duplicates for the rarest, most desirable items. The desire to collect souvenirs no longer existed. Collecting skins and packages from a historical moment from historical players is why souvenirs existed in the first place. By taking away the unique player autograph, Valve have taken away any reason to care. Especially when they cost more than a case, yet you'll still get a 4-cent skin. Easily the worst investment out of any item in the store. Combine all of these factors and we have a group of major items that completely flopped. This is annoying for Valve, as they don't make their millions of dollars for 10 hours of work. But for the esports scene, if these sales were to be repeated for future majors, it would be suicide. The Counter-Strike esports scene runs on 3 things: gambling sponsorships, VC money from large corporations, and sticker money. It's no surprise that the Astralis Group are looking to sell the CS division after failing to qualify for another major. Payroll for players is not public information, but Maui put together a little spreadsheet of salaries some time ago, and if this looks like a lot of money for 5 players and a coach, just know that these numbers are on the low side. With the acquisition of Device, Down, and Yabi, and likely smaller contracts for Stare and Hooksy if he were to sign, although unlikely until Astralis know their future, it's safe to assume that Astralis are sitting around $100,000 a month just in salary. $1.2 million a year just to pay the contracts for their players and coach. Now if Astralis qualified for the Paris Major, which saw $110 million in sales, once Valve takes their cut, the revenue between teams is split and players take their cut depending on the contract. And that is just from stickers, as teams also get a cut from viewer passes, souvenirs, and if you win the event, the Champions Capsule. Now, salaries are far from the only expense that these organizations have to deal with, but it's a simple way to see the impact that qualifying for a major can have on a team. For years, qualifying for the major has been significantly more important than actually winning one, but Shanghai had changed that, and not in a good way. I proposed a question not too long ago. As fans of this game, we don't like copy and paste stickers and souvenirs. I don't have this Scouts because I think souvenir Scouts are cool, and I don't have this Cloud9 sticker because I think it's a good investment. But as players and team owners, how do they feel about Valve actively destroying the revenue stream that they invested into when they signed a team destined for major success? A team like Gamer Legion didn't exist to win the big tournaments and break records. They signed promising players with the hope of qualifying for a major. Once they qualify, their standout players from the event will then get sold at a significantly higher price to a team that failed to produce results, whether that's failing at the major or not qualifying altogether. Mouse used to be one of these farm teams. Get to a major, cash in some sticker money to keep the ball rolling, and sell their new talent when a team comes knocking. It's very difficult to run an operation like this without sticker money coming in. So let's say you're a team like Eternal Fire, who had a competitive team for years without any large investors or gambling sponsorships. Because of your consistent high level, you continue qualifying for majors and raking in the cash, keeping the doors open. Sadly, Copenhagen saw a significant drop in sales. Complexity are on record saying they saw a 75% decrease in revenue compared to Paris. We saw the Paris splits. That means teams aren't even close to covering their salaries for the year just off of sticker money. And then, for Eternal Fire, disaster struck. They failed to qualify for Shanghai. And today, Eternal Fire is no more. They were not able to pay the salaries for their players, and they made the decision to sell. That is just how tight some of these teams are operating in Counter-Strike. And even for top teams that didn't fail to qualify for Shanghai, the sales were so bad, even compared to Copenhagen, the teams got pennies for their investment. I bet Eternal Fire could have worked something out with the players, as they are the Turkish org in Counter-Strike, and their qualification for the Austin Major would have given the injection of cash that they needed. But after watching the last two majors fall off a cliff for revenue, how do you assure your players that you will have enough money to keep the doors open for the foreseeable future? You can't, and that's why 1xBet Aurora is the team they now play under. When Valve are actively killing your main source of revenue, the gambling sites can feast. And that brings us to today, where bordered stickers and unique souvenirs have returned, following the worst performing major in modern Counter-Strike history. This wasn't Valve randomly deciding they wanted unique sticker designs again. It was the Counter-Strike community voting with their wallet. Not only did Valve lose money from people not purchasing items, teams were too. And I would have to assume there have been some not so pleasant conversations with Valve about the way they are actively destroying the Counter-Strike ecosystem after a decade of growth. I don't know why Valve went down the route they did, but their transition back to unique items had pressure behind it, not just a whimsical decision. If you were watching this video expecting a breakdown of the new stickers, I'm sorry. There are some cool items here, and the color matching holos on crafts will be something that I experiment with when the sale starts. Also, a shout out to the new but old Complexity logo. I'm going to buy up a few of these just for the culture. But in general, I do expect papers to really struggle with demand and application rates, as they just really aren't that good. The glow-in-the-dark aspect could make a difference if Valve does introduce night maps, but we will cross that road if it ever comes. And I feel similar about the foils. Outside of the border issue, foils don't really pop in CS2. But for holos, I would expect some real demand for bulkier stickers with one solid color. Just look at M80. While I was excited for the sticker, it was not well executed for a holo. And the Complexity sticker is another example of poor execution. But then you compare it to something like a FaZe holo, and it's pretty obvious which one is going to be more popular. And for golds, despite the bulkiness, they are clean in game, and a high application rate for these stickers would not be unexpected. Investment potential for these items can be determined long after the capsule sale has begun. Some of these stickers are going to be sought after, so now the big question will be supply numbers, and it will take months to get that answer. For me, I'll be making some purchases, but not purely for investments. It's going to be out of principle. I bought Rio capsules when they were released, as it was a break from the borderless stickers, and I wanted to prove to Valve that they made the right decision. Well, the Rio sales were horrible, and then they went back to borderless. I don't see that as a coincidence. Now that borderless has hopefully run its course, I want to prove to Valve that bordered stickers are still appreciated, and they should continue down this road. Will it work? I don't know, but I'm going to try.